Greetings and salutations, everybody. It's Mecha GM, and I'm joined by my good friends Eric Carlson and Gav Leaf. We're here to record Three Men in Anime. Huzzah!
Hooray!
I think I screwed my opening up for this, but whatever.
I think we did. That's okay.
Out of 103, I think we can have a little bit of change.
Not even that's
like the third episode. Shut up. Third episode.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, this week we are going to be discussing my most recent series selection. A little anime you might have heard of, maybe just possibly.
I don't know. It's kind of underground.
Yeah, a little underground. It's called something. It's Frieren Beyond Journey's End. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's got elves in it. Nobody's gonna like it.
Yeah.
No, this one. I guarantee, if you've never heard of this show, you've seen the fucking elf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you don't know what she's from. You've seen her.
So I will say this, as we often do, just to get this out of the way before we start talking about the show. Spoilers are likely to happen. We try not to get too spoilery, but it happens. If you want to know what our opinion is, sans spoilers, without discussing it a lot, we all really liked it, and yet if you have not seen this, dear God, watch this. Give it a try.
It's you have to hype things up, but it'll change your life.
I'll put it this way. The main character in the show is an elf, and Eric loved the show.
Yeah. Elves are food, not friends. Except when it's Frieren.
As I said before, from watching the first 4 episodes, I came to the conclusion, I stand by this. Frieren is either the best or second best elf in anime. Her only challenger is Deedlit from Record of Lodoss War, in my opinion.
She beats Deedlit, honestly.
I think she probably does now. I was not sure at the start, and I'm covering my bases. That's all I'm saying. They are, my opinion, the 2 best elves in anime, unquestionably, in my opinion. And there's some good other elven characters, but
no, there aren't. Elves are food, not friends.
Okay, as long as you're not Eric. But yeah. So this is Frieren is our primary character, as you could probably guess from the title. But yeah, it's really good. It is visually stunning. The music is great. The story is really well done. The characters are really well thought out, and
it's very good.
Yeah.
It's slow, but in sort of like a quiet, friendly kind of way. You're hanging out with friends, or you're not in a rush to go anywhere.
I don't think any of us were ever bored.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, it may sound like a really weird way to describe it, but it's kind of like a nice middle ground between those shows that I can't remember their names now when it comes to it. Ancient Magus
Tiger King. I was going to say Tiger King and Rebel Moon, but okay.
No, it's something on the line. Don't you mention Rebel Moon? No, it's like a comfy middle between a show that's really slow, like Ancient Magus Bride, and say insert other fantasy show that hits all the tropes. I almost said the comedy one, which again I'm terrible with names today. Konosuba, yeah.
I don't think it doesn't have a lot in common with Konosuba. I don't think.
No, I'm just more looking at the setting. But
It I would say it definitely has some of that sort of riding down, relaxing on riding down a meandering river on a very comfortable boat that Ancient Magus Bride has, along with the moments of just holy shit, what the fuck.
Yes. There's also the entirety of Frieren sort of carries this sort of undercurrent of melancholy.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
But it's never intrusive.
No.
It's actually one of the main themes of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. There are some definitely very sad moments.
I mean, the show opens up with
well, yeah,
the first episode of the funeral, and
and the ending, the moment after the funeral is what is the heartbreaking bit. It's oh.
So essentially, without venturing too deep into spoilers, the basic gist of the story is Frieren is, as we've said, an elf.
Yep.
And elves are extremely long-lived, as they are wont to be.
Yep.
Bastards.
She is. The elves in this story are like Tolkien elves. They don't really die. I mean, they can be killed.
Say, like, I think these guys are immortal in that live until killed kind of way.
Yeah.
Functionally immortal. And it's basically her and how she relates to like lesser lived species, primarily humans, but also dwarves and anything else that pops along.
Yeah, it's I mean, the whole premise is, hey, the great hero and his party have defeated the Demon King and saved the world from evil. 50 years later, Frieren shows back up. It's like, hey guys, want to check out that meteor shower I talked about like 5 decades ago? We're all ancient. Yeah, so? It's only a 2-week walk.
Yeah, this is actually the reason why the show is so slow. And I believe it's actually a deliberate and very clever like way they've managed to pace the show out. Because everything to Frieren it's almost in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything's transitory to her. Everything
when she says she's gonna, I'm gonna visit, I'm gonna stop over in a town for a short spell. She means a couple of decades.
Yeah.
Because what's 20 years to somebody who's immortal?
Yeah.
And she kind of has trouble realizing, or not. I wouldn't say tolerating, but understanding why the younger races are so, eager to rush around so much.
Yep.
Everything's no one's got any patience. It's like, yes, because we'll be dead.
and one of the things I think one of the big story points for the show is Frieren learning like how to interact with that.
Yeah.
I really admire. I actually came to really admire her willingness to learn.
Yes.
And how much she did. Like, yeah, she's still like, like she'll get stuck in a town for like 6 weeks and not notice it, and then she'll realize, oh, Fern's getting kind of. We'll get to Fern in a second. Fern, we've been here too long, haven't we? Yes. Sorry.
Told you that a week ago.
But the book, it was only a week. Was that a week ago? That was a week ago. Yeah, it was only a week ago. What are you talking? Oh, right. Yeah, right. I'm sorry. I was in the middle. But there's so many books. So yeah, but it literally, legitimately, it starts off. So the first main characters we're introduced to are Frieren, unsurprisingly.
Yep.
The immortal elf mage, and the hero's party, including Himmel the hero.
Himmel the hero. Yep. Eisen the dwarf.
Yep. Dwarf warrior, and Heiter. Yeah, the human mage.
Heiter. Yes, the priest.
And
the drunken whoring priest.
Yeah,
like most priests.
Frieren refers to him quite often as a corrupt priest.
Yeah.
They all have their flaws. We find out more like the one we're most introduced to early on is Heiter's alcoholism. Like he's drunk.
Yeah. He's a drunk. He doesn't really take anything too seriously.
Yep.
If he's not drunk, he's hungover, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a couple of times where he's basically useless because he's that hungover. At least that is the implication. We get that in flashbacks. Yeah. We do not see any of their. We see almost nothing of their journey to defeat the Demon Lord.
King. Yeah,
because that's already happened.
Yeah,
that's not the important bit. So we are treated to their return home as heroes, under this beautiful meteor shower, which Frieren looks at and says, "That's nice. I know a better place to see it. You know what? Next time this meteor shower comes, I'll take you there. That'll be in 50 years, Frieren. Yeah, that's not a problem."
Yeah, I guess it's 50 years.
They also mentioned like this big long journey. She's like, "What? It was like 10 years. That's nothing." And they're like, "For you, Frieren." I mean, it's not. To be fair, it's not 10 years. Is not a ton for Eisen. He is a dwarf.
Yeah.
But still much shorter lived than Frieren. But yeah, so she takes him as we mentioned. They go see the meteor shower. They all agree, "Yep, this is awesome." God, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And the next thing we get is basically Himmel's funeral.
Yeah. And I think he dies on the way back.
It's possible. That they don't really say.
Yeah.
It might be
the implication is either dies during the meteor shower or on the way back.
Yeah.
They do the thing where essentially the old parties grouped for one last time. They're all smiling. at the meteor shower and starry eyed, and then smash cut. They're in the church and it's a funeral.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you know, there are people watch. So they're worshippers. They're people, you know, people who you know are support. You know, people who revere Himmel. You know, Himmel and the party and such. And they're all there. They're all there to pay their respects. And you know, Frieren doesn't look particularly sad because she doesn't generally.
Yeah,
And
she's particularly stoic. She doesn't show a lot of emotion.
No, she doesn't. And there's reason for that. We find out. But yeah, they're people sort of throwing shade at her for, like, you know, being kind of heartless, and Hyder and Eisen basically sort of like, no, don't you dare say shit about Frieren about this.
She's one of us, and she was Himmel's favorite, so shut the fuck up.
Yep. And, like, you know, they're after this sort of they're doing the final bits of it. Frieren sort of suddenly realizes that, you know, she doesn't really know that much about Himmel, but she only traveled him for like 10 years. And, like, it hits her that he's not going to be there anymore. And she, like, you know, she realizes that she actually misses, she breaks down in tears because she's like, and so she's, you know, she basically decides at some point, you know, she needs to find a way to connect with the memories of her friends, basically, and the journey. And so she travels around doing stuff and keeps more in touch with, you know, Eisen and Himmel. Heiter, sorry. And one time she's visiting Himmel, she stumbles across this very small child in the woods as she's coming up to Himmel's place, and introduces this girl named Fern, who's apparently is an orphan who's been adopted by a very old Himmel, who is a mage in training. And Heiter, sorry, not Himmel, Heiter. And Heiter basically asks Frieren, so, Frieren, would you be, I'm old and dying, would you be willing to take her on as an apprentice? And Friren's like, well, I'm traveling a lot, and, like, apprentice mages don't live very long when you're doing that. I can't really do that, like. And Heiter's like, okay, yep, that's fair. I got one other favor I'd like to ask you. Okay, I'll pay you for it. Okay, I've got this text that might actually that might be from the ancient main Flamel, and it might be about, like, immortality magic. And if you could translate and figure out if this is legit, I'd appreciate it. Well, Frien's like, well, I confess it's magic I don't know, and I'm getting paid. Sure. And while you're doing that, would you mind, like, you know, occasionally, like, teaching Fern while you're here? And she's like, okay, fine. This is not at all a sneak way for Himmel to have Frieren teach Fern up enough that she's actually not alive, would not be in too much danger while they're traveling. Yeah. Totally not what Heiter's doing. Oh, wait, that's exactly what Heiter's doing.
Also, Heiter knows exactly what Frieren's major weakness is.
Oh, yeah.
Books.
New spells.
Yeah.
New spells. And generally, like, sort of, like, basically what would be for you D&D aficionados would be like weird little cantrips.
Yeah.
Like just weird little spells that do, like, a one thing kind of well.
Yeah.
Yep.
But aren't going to, like, end the world or anything.
Yeah. Like, her favorite spell, she keeps saying over and over, her favorite spell is just a spell that creates a field of flowers.
Yep.
Apparently, it's super old, super ancient magic that is extremely rare.
Yep.
Which is what makes it valuable. The effect is completely irrelevant to her. It's just the fact that it's old.
Asterisk.
Well,
there's a very good reason why it's actually very important to her.
Well, that particular one, yes. What I mean is in general, like the what the spell does when she's hunting down for spells is less relevant than
it being something she's not seen before, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yep, no. The fact that the reason this spell is her favorite, we'll get to later. Frieren, turns out, as you dig down deep enough, it's a big old softie.
He really is.
So after this, you know, Heiter passes away, and you know, unsurprisingly, the book's a forgery. It's not Flame's, you know, not her work. Frieren was pretty sure it wasn't because, in general, most books by this legendary wizard Flamme are hoaxes.
Right.
And she actually asked him, I was like, Hedder, it's like, well, you knew this was a fake, didn't you? She's like, oh yeah.
Oh, obviously.
This is just wholly a way to trick me to stay here and teach Fern. Yep.
That's exactly true.
Fair play. Frieren doesn't even get...
She's good enough she can hang out with you now, right? Yep, she is.
She is. So, since I'm dying, would you take her with you? Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, Heiter.
Fuck you. You corrupt priest. And one of my best friends.
Yeah.
So she takes Fern with her, and we get to see, the beginnings of her journey, and one of the first, and so Frieren eventually starts up a journey to retrace the path the party took to get to the Demon King's castle.
Yeah.
Demon Lord's castle. So that's not, we shouldn't start off exactly here, but it becomes fully that at a certain point.
Yeah. Well, and also, the actual destination isn't important to the show.
No, it's not at all. I mean, there's an overarching reason why she's going where she's going. We'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, so we get to see her, start teaching Fern magic. We're going to see Fern get very impatient with Frieren at the first time they stop over to help somebody out. And Frieren stays way too long to try to figure out how to do what they're doing, which is she wants it, basically, they're hired to clean up a statue of Himmel. And Frieren's like, it'd be really nice if I could, create a field of flowers around it. But the right flower, I can't cast a spell unless I've seen it. I know what the right flower is, but I've never actually personally seen it. It's this blue flower. It's from Himmel's homeland. And the herbalist in the town that they're doing the job for, it's like, I know that flower. It used to grow here, but it doesn't anymore. I used to have seeds of it, but I don't have any more. They're all sort of gone. And so Frieren spends time to look and say, well, maybe there's some around somewhere in town. It's very rare that flowers disappear entirely from an area. And so she spends the next, month or 3, or longer possibly, looking for it. As Fern gets more and more impatient because, she's a kid.
Yeah.
She's sort of a young teenager by this point.
Yeah.
And,
and she's
18 or 19.
17, yeah, maybe 19.
Yeah, she's an older teenager, but when the season ends. But yeah, so the herbalist sort of actually catches notices Fern. She's like, Fern, if you're getting impatient about this sort of thing and frustrated with Frieren, tell her. She won't know otherwise. She's not going to pick up on this stuff easily. She's an elf. This is not the sort of thing she notices easily. You have to tell her. And so Fern does, and Fern's like, oh. All right. Let us say for just a little while longer, and then we'll go.
One more trick I want to try.
There's one more trick I want to try. And Fern's like, okay. And Fern, you can tell Fern genuinely is realize that, oh, I'm so sorry that I upset you about this. Oh, shit.
I didn't think this would be a thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right. You're like a kid. Not just oh, right. Okay. Got it. This is this 6 months we've been here is a significant portion of your life.
It's kind of, oddly enough, it's kind of it reminded me of the, Superman's World of Paper speech.
World of Cardboard speech? Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So, it's it's the bit where Frieren's starting to realize that the time that she uses is actually potentially dangerous, to the lesser races around her. That she's wasting their life.
Yeah. Oh,
she kind of gets that, but doesn't realize she's doing it.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of what Fern's most upset about is that Frieren's this incredibly powerful, talented wizard, mage, who's just meandering and not doing more than not helping him more than she could, because she's time moves so slowly for her. Which is, an interesting point.
Yeah. You could be doing so much more. Why aren't you?
And Frien's like, I don't actually have an answer for that. Fair.
One of those things I'd get to,
So, they continue their journey, and they have a good chunk of the early part is largely them just sort of showing up to a new place, dealing with the problem and Frieren learning more about people.
Yeah.
Like, there's one town they go to where they, they are hired to clean up the seashore from a whole bunch of wrecked ships. Because they want to clean up before the New Year ceremony where everyone gets up at sunrise to see the sunrise over this pristine ocean bay. And this is a place that Frieren and the party had been to before. And, like, they all went out to the sunrise. Frieren slept in because she tends to sleep in. Frieren is not a morning person.
No.
And so she hadn't seen it.
We all can relate to.
But she Himmel told her that he thought she would really like this whole thing, and she didn't really get it. But she Fern manages to drag her out to it because she promises Fern she'll go with them, and she oversleeps, and she's basically like, okay, it's late enough that Fern's like, it's so late you're gonna sleep. Fern's like, no problem, I'll just stay up all night, not a big deal. Dozes off. So Fern basically gets her up and drags her out. And, like, Fern's like, it's just another sunrise. And then she sort of looks around and sees how much, like, Fern is really into it. And that's what gets her.
Yeah.
It's not this, it's the sharing the experience with someone else. She's like, oh. Yeah. No. Because she didn't say, I don't think Himmel really ever got me. Understood me. And then, like, she's like, no, he did understand me. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh.
I didn't get him. Fuck.
Oh, man. I feel...
Well, it's clear on the flash, in a lot of the flashbacks, she treats Himmel with a lot of curiosity, but kind of like watching a child try to figure out the world, essentially.
Yep.
Whereas...
It's very clear she's fond of Himmel.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also pretty clear Himmel pretty much is in love with her by a certain point.
Yeah.
Like...
Himmel definitely has a thing for her, or had a thing for her.
Yeah, because he's
dead now.
He's dead now.
Another thing that elves aren't very good with either.
No, they're not. They're pretty explicitly coded to be basically ace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything we see regarding, because we run into like one or two more elves, and everything we see regarding them very much hints at wholly aromantic ace.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not a thing.
Like they don't have kids very often. Just in general, they don't really have a drive to do it, and they're generally fairly, as Eric said, they're kind of aromantic, asexual, largely. I mean, not entirely. They do, but like at this point, Fern's not entirely certain there are other elves still alive out there. Like, she's not seen another one in like a couple hundred years at this point.
Yeah, that realization is like, I might be the last one. What to do with this information?
She does have a conversation about, potentially, like, she's thought about maybe reproducing at some point in the future, but, like, there's literally no rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They run. If I remember correctly, we run into two other elves in the entirety of the season.
Yeah.
Yes. We run into Kraft, who is just a random elven monk they run into and spend a winter with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sere, who we'll talk about later.
Yeah. And basically they're just traveling north through a pass. They're trying to beat the winter, but the winter catches them, so they find a cabin, which is already inhabited by another traveler, the elf Kraft. And so, yeah, they're just like, okay, I guess we're spending the winter here.
Yep. But yeah, so the next major stop they have is she gets back into where Eisen lives.
Yeah.
And they chat. They get to catch up, and we find out a little bit about, like, they show up as Eisen sort of praying for his family, I think.
Yeah.
His past relatives.
Yeah.
And
well, they use him because obviously at this point it's like, I think they say it's about 70 years since the end.
About 80, I think.
Yeah, well, it's something like that. But basically, it's been 50 years since.
Like the meteor shower bit. Himmel's funeral was 50 years after the adventure.
Yeah.
And this
And
is like
then-
another 20, 30 years after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Haito went another 20 odd years, and it's taken them a couple of years to get where they are here. And they even start to point out that even Eisen, the dwarf, another long-lived race, is starting to feel his age.
Yeah. Well, like, Frieren asks if he'll join them and be their sort of frontline fighter, and he's like, I can't. Like, I'm not what I used to be. I'm too old. I can't. By the way, like, some of the stuff he does at this age is ridiculously badass. You realize,
Yeah.
like, lifting boulders badass.
Yeah.
But he doesn't move well enough to be a frontline fighter for what Frieren might get into. And to be fair, he's probably right. But yeah, so we do get a little flashback, like when, basically when he's paying respects to his family, and Heiter and Himmel are basically praying for them to make it to heaven, and like Eisen's like, well, I don't really like. Both Eisen and Frieren are like, as far as we're aware, there's no afterlife. Like,
Yeah.
and both Himmel and Heiter are like, well, maybe not, but like, wouldn't it be better if there was?
Yeah. And the concept of an afterlife is a relatively new thing spiritually.
Yeah.
In the world.
They do reference gods from now and again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, like the concept of afterlife is relatively recent. It's very recent for Frieren.
Yeah.
But yeah, they basically and Eisen's like, it doesn't hurt to do that, and it's, as long as it doesn't like change how you live your life, particularly,
Yeah.
sure. But he mentions that there might be a grimoire from Flemme, the ancient, the ancient great first founder of humanity's magic, deep in the woods. And Frieren's like, most of those are forged, right? And he's like, yeah, but I think this one might be legit. And Frieren's like, okay.
Well, you're not Heiter. You're probably not lying to me.
Yep. So they go and they look for it, and they do find it. It's hidden behind this giant ancient tree. And this is where we find out something about Frieren. There's a reason she's fairly acutely aware of that most of these are the Flemme's journals are grimoires are forgeries. She was Flemme's apprentice.
Yeah. Flemme was the one that taught her magic.
yeah.
I mean, she knew magic before that, but she taught how to be a good wizard by Flemme. Like,
Yeah.
and that was about 1,000 years ago. Frieren's old.
Yeah.
And we get to see a little bit of a flashback. There's a really neat little scene where Flamme's planting the tree that's going to grow up to form this barrier to protect stuff, and like Frieren's like, that thing won't grow up before you're dead, and she's like, yeah, but in 1,000 years it'll be here, and it'll be here for you. And Frieren's like, okay, sure. And she's back like, yep, Flamme was right as always. All right, what do you got? Okay, teach. What's in the book you want me to read? It's open to the thing to the discussion of how to talk to those who have passed by going to the actual location of the afterlife, which is apparently way far out north, just past the where the Demon King's castle is.
Well, fuck.
Also
And-
known as heaven.
Yep, and well. Flamme basically did say to me that at some point I might want to actually, like, I'd miss, my connections with humans I might have gotten to know, and there might be information about like how to actually talk to them, and get to know them, and fuck, yeah, I guess that's where I'm going. So Fern,
I need to speak to my friends when I'm emotionally mature enough to be able to actually have a conversation with them and understand them. I'll see you in 3 millennia.
So Fern, we're going to go. I'm planning to go really far north for this thing. We're going to be retracing my journey, the path. I'm planning to retrace the journey to the Demon King's castle.
Yeah.
And Fern's like, okay.
Well, all right then.
I mean, she's like, we've got a goal. Cool. Are we going to just like travel? And Fern's like, no. We'll be retraced. We'll be helping people along the way because that's what I do. And yeah, so that's the actual journey. We get a lot of neat little adventure, little sort of mini adventures across the path. They're also going to go find. They also basically talk to Eisen after Eisen basically says, "I'm not coming with you, but I do know a warrior that might be useful for you," which is his student. Turns out,
Yeah.
who we meet not too long after this. There's a really good scene with a little mini thing where they run into a monster that draws on like the memories of the people it's stalking to create like decoys to trap to like of their loved ones who bait them as basically as bait basically. And this is where so we get to see the decoy of Heiter for Fern and Himmel for Frieren, and Fern has some trouble like dealing with that, and Frieren's like, yes, Himmel. Yeah, no, you are my best friend, and yeah, I care a lot about you, but you're not Himmel. He's dead. Blat.
Nice try, demon.
And, Fern basically hearing that go off and realize what's happened. It's like, you know what? Okay. Yep. Nope. The teacher's right. This is, blat. And we do learn that Fern is something of a prodigy is the thing we sort of learned during all of this.
Yeah. Well, so is Stark. The
Oh, he's also a prodigy. It turns out, yes. But yeah, we meet Stark. He's sort of they come across a dragon that's guarding its hoard, and Frieren's like, there's a grimoire in there. I could blow up the dragon, but it would probably blow up the hoard.
Can't do that.
I need a distraction. What we need is a warrior. Well, we're near the town where Eisen said his student was, so maybe he's there? And yeah, he is. And we find out that he's driven off. The dragon's not attacking the town because he's there, or at least that's what the townsfolk say.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Stark himself, whereas like Eisen has the body of a literal rock, like descending cliffs by diving headfirst is not unknown to Eisen.
Yes.
Like, he just doesn't take damage.
Yeah.
Right? Unfortunately, Stark's head is of rock. He's a bit of a numpty.
He's a little thick-headed, and he is a coward, it turns out.
Yeah.
Or at least, that's what he thinks. Also, he's capable of swinging an axe to carve a giant crevasse into a cliffside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically he's got a scar that he said was from fighting monsters, but it's actually from Eisen when Eisen freaked out when training with him and didn't mean to injure him because he was actually forced to defend himself properly because Stark is that fucking strong.
And doesn't realize it.
And does not realize how strong he is. Didn't at the time realize how strong he was. And the other thing we find out is that Eisen is also a coward. And that's sort of, that's how we phrase it. It's more that he's afraid of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's a little bit standard warrior fare. It's like, to be brave, you need to accept that you're afraid of things and move past it, kind of stuff.
And it's not like being afraid isn't is not weakness. It's just it is what it is. But and they're both more like fearful than most warriors. But they both Eisen used that to be better at what he did, and so does Stark eventually. Basically, Fern they talk about it, and like Fern's like tells him when we talked to Eisen about this stuff because we did talk to him. He said that she tells him what he said about it, and Stark's like, what? Huh. Well, and she says, we're gonna deal with the dragon. If you're interested, we'll meet up with you in town, or whatever. And like Fern's basically convinced, he's not gonna show up. And Frieren basically like after they briefly talk to him, Fern goes back to talk to him again, right? And she's convinced that he's not gonna show up. And Frieren's like, no, he's gonna show up. Why do you? Why? Well, that's what Eisen said he would. And I trust Eisen. It's very much not a case that Frieren understands Stark, but she trusts Eisen's opinion. And Stark shows up eventually. A little bit late, but yeah. And thus begins...
now we have our party.
We have our party, and they fight the dragon, and Stark's there to distract you for 30 seconds so Frieren can set up the spell to kill it, and Stark kills the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's honestly gorgeously animated. Like,
Well, yes.
there's nothing in this show that isn't gorgeously animated.
Right.
Like,
This is one thing about this show. It seems on the surface it seems very simple, very basic, very easy. Like because it's such a slow show, but you don't realize they are flexing all the time.
Oh my god, the animation of the show is fucking yeah. The art, it's gorgeous.
watching this show, like there are two times that took my breath away with that with the animation.
Yeah.
It wasn't like big like action set pieces or anything like that. It was a bit where Frieren bends down to pick up a flower, and you can see the translucency of the petals with her hand backlit behind it.
It was gorgeous.
And another part where a man's stepping on some freshly formed frost, and it shatters exactly the right way frost does when you step on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, someone knew their shit.
Yeah. It is
Like, yeah, big action set pieces. You've got those in there too. It's a high-end anime production. It's gonna have those.
Yeah, no.
But, oof.
Yeah, no, they you know, let's say it's a slow show, but when it wants to kick it into high gear, it does.
Yes.
Like, legitimately, like this most impressive animation art stuff is all in the slow stuff. It is very KyoAni in that way.
Yeah.
It's not KyoAni. I believe this is Toho.
I think you might be right.
Like if you're paying attention and watching closely, you'll see some really like top-notch, high-quality tier animation going on. But
No,
if you're not
I'm
watching
wrong. Sorry, that might be who's producing it. It's Madhouse.
Possibly.
Madhouse flexing their muscles,
Yeah.
reminding us that they still exist. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Madhouse going and
Absolutely.
don't forget us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which absolutely explains why when they do a big action scene, you know that
Yeah.
yeah, those fights later on now make a lot of sense.
Yeah. And there are fights.
This was a Madhouse basically going, we might be the old men in the room, but we still know how to fuck.
Yeah. God, this show's gorgeous. The music's also fucking incredible. Like,
Yeah. There's no aspect of this production that isn't.
no, there's not.
great.
You know, one of the most I should have mentioned this at the start, but one of the most refreshing things for me, it's just a fantasy story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no
isekai bullshit.
There's no otherworld bullshit. It's just a fantasy show.
And also, like, no, like, gamification of it either.
No gamification. No tagged on. Like
Yeah.
I say, no tagged on bullshit just because it's the fucking flavor of the month. Or,
Yeah.
year, or
Don't
fucking
talk about
decade.
like levels and like
Right, yeah.
all that other shit. There's some shit with ranking, but it's entirely like obviously a social construct, not
Yeah.
like some rule of magic.
Right, exactly.
It's literally a mage license. You need a license to be a mage to go where you need to go.
Right. Well, and that yeah. So, like, the most important bits is the bit where they traveling north. They get stuck in the snow. And they meet up with Kraft, who's another elf monk, and we find out even later that he's a big time adventurer, actually, like a big hero.
Yeah.
It's just that he's a hero in the area where nowhere near where Fern's from. It was also a fairly long time ago, relatively, for Fern, and Frieren is just wandering around doing shit. Like, she wasn't like. This is it's again, it's outside. Like, Frieren doesn't pay attention to this stuff. But it's really neat. Like the just the bit with it, just them living together in this house in the middle of this deep winter, and like Kraft helps does some training with Stark. He talks a lot with Frieren because, like, hey, it's another elf. I can talk to you about elf things. We can talk like elves talk. Neat. And Fern gets to know Stark a little bit better than just by traveling. They're in the same. Not a lot of place they can go, right?
This is the advantage of this show being this slow.
Mm-hmm.
But they fill it, despite the fact that it is going very slow. They fill it with content. So like, you get to see Fern and Stark getting used to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just go straight into typical anime. Oh, it's a brother-sister relationship. It's like there's that period, when you're not sure of a new person,
Yep.
Yeah.
where you're cordial with them, but they're not quite sure. Then eventually it does develop into that kind of familiarity of friends. Then we do get the brother-sister almost relationship with them, where Fern just needs any excuse to get pissed off with Stark, and he provides them by the bucket load.
He's not
Yeah.
very good at he's good at reading when Fern is angry. He has no fucking clue why she's mad.
Yes.
And most of the time it's pretty obvious why she's mad.
Yeah, it's usually a case of, oh, Fern's pissed. Why?
Why is she mad at me? She's clearly mad at me, but I have no idea why.
Miss Frieren, why is Fern mad at me?
It's empty if I don't know why.
But it's like, I love the bits where he's like, Miss Frieren, why is Fern mad at me? And Fern's like, how the fuck should I know?
Yes.
Like, you're human, right?
It's weird how Fern very quickly becomes the mom of the group.
In
Yes.
some ways, yes.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
she's also still a young girl in her own right, so she's quite immature with it sometimes.
Yeah. Well, there's a significant, it very becomes pretty clear, like, towards the end, you really get the feel that Frieren really looks at Frieren as an adoptive mother at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she is, like, there's very much a very, very close bond between them. Like, but, like, they take care of each other in different ways, which is really cool, honestly.
Yes.
Because they're both immature in very different ways.
There's also clearly a romance budding between Stark and Fern.
Yes.
But it's very much earned.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Like-
yes.
Yeah. Like there's more than just a friendship developing there, but it's not like, oh look, it's the male and the female. Of course they're going to hook up. It's earned, and you feel like you're cheering for the dumbasses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, bless these two idiots.
They really are.
A little bit later on, they meet another traveler on their journeys, a human, another priest, oddly enough.
Yeah, they hook up with it. They have that priest join them for a while, yeah.
And he can see it because Frieren is completely oblivious to this.
Yeah.
And they're obviously too young and dumb-headed to actually see that as well. And God, this priest is pushing Stark and saying, dude, just use your brain, think, talk to each other. And the same back, and he tries to explain to Fern that he means well, but Stark is a dumbass.
Yeah.
He's a teenage boy. We're all dumbasses. He's not trying to piss you off. He just needs a little bit of patience.
I think it was Sign was the guy's name, if I remember correctly. The priest.
I think it's something like that. Yeah.
Got the wiki. Hang on a second. Oh, he's not. Oh, yeah, Sign. Yeah.
Yeah, Sign's he's a good dude and a very good priest. Well, sort of.
He's a bit of the second coming of Hyter.
Hyter, yeah.
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 I mean, they very much are kind of reforming the party, except that they don't have the hero. They've got Frieren in that role, basically,
Yeah.
as the leader of the party. So instead of, the hero, the dwarven warrior, the human priest, and the elf mage, we've got Frieren, the human wizard, the human fighter, and the human priest.
Yeah.
Sign is not as much of a drunkard as Hyter is. He's definitely more functional.
You say
He's
that
also
like it's difficult.
he's also a bit more cynical.
Oh, yes. He's very much a cynic. Although,
very much a cynic, and he's also a bit. Well, he's not a womanizer, but he fancies himself a ladies' man.
yes.
Mm.
And he's got a thing for older women,
Yeah.
which is a running gag with the party.
It's actually
Yeah.
kind of hilarious because he's reluctant to leave. He won't spoil, but he's got his own reasons. But he's reluctant to join the party. He's reluctant to leave his village.
Yep.
And they try to play on his weakness for gambling, drinking, and lusting after
And older women. Yeah.
And like he can't. He's a terrible gambler, but so is Stark. So they keep losing all their shit to the local lords. And they finally resort to Frieren trying to flirt with him, which is exactly as funny as it
Which is
sounds.
hilarious. Because Frieren's bad at it. And
Yes.
also doesn't look a day over 20.
Yes. But it's like a case of, he has a thing for older women. She is literally the oldest woman.
He's like, yeah, but she looks like she's 20. Why?
Elf. Oh yeah.
It's more like the why would you think this would work? She's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, but she's the oldest woman. She's an old woman, but that's not what I
age.
mean.
It's not
That's not
the
what I
number
mean
that's
by an older
important.
woman.
Yeah.
Not
So
what I mean.
all I mean by by older women, guys.
Yes. They do save a town from a demonic flower thing where Sign gets to kick ass, actually. He gets to be pretty badass in it. Also, there's a really cool moment where Frieren basically tells, like, because it's putting everybody to sleep that's not actually doesn't have clerical magic. And, like, she's like, look, just make sure I'm awake in exactly the right moment, and I'll just trust me. And he's like, I can only keep you awake. I can only wake you up for like 15, 20 seconds. She's like, doesn't matter. When you need me, wake me up. And he's like, okay. And it works because she trusts him to figure out what needs to be done.
Right.
In and to communicate to her what needs to be done in the time she is awake, and it works. And she sort of talks about, like, this is how parties. It's like, it's not like being able to fully understand each other. It's to trust that the other, while you may not understand the other person completely, it's to be able to trust them to do what they do well. And it's like, oh, wow, okay. So it's a case of she trusts him to do that, and he just has to trust her to be able to act on it. And he's like, okay, I gotta trust her on that thing, and it's Frieren, so of course she does it.
Right.
And so eventually they split up. He goes off to find his old friend, which is why he's traveling with him at all in the first place.
Yeah.
And they eventually reach one of the northern towns, which is near the frontier, where apparently the Demon King's former army is still acting up a bit. And when they get to town, there's a diplomatic delegation of 3 demons coming to town with the lord of the town, and Frieren's like, demons, right? Time to nuke them.
It's a really weird. Well, not weird, but it's justified as we find out. But like, it's such a sharp character change for Frieren. The second she sees she's the stoic, calm one, patient one, and the second she sees a demon, she summons the staff, starts aiming.
Yeah.
Like, whoa! What the fuck are you doing?
Now, I will point out she is very calm when she's doing this at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is not like, anger raging. No, this is literally just like, oh, I have to kill them now.
Oh, demons. Time to take out the trash.
Yeah. She is tackled to the ground by the guards, and she doesn't resist because she doesn't want to injure the guards because that would be bad. And she's arrested. Although the demon asks her why she did that, and she's like, demons, when demons talk to you, they're trying to trick you. There is no reasoning with them.
She tries to explain that demons in and of themselves are not rational thinking beings. They don't think like humans.
Yeah.
They don't communicate with words. The fact that they've learned language means that they're looking for an edge to deceive people.
Yep.
They're using it as a weapon. Anything they say is bullshit.
So this is where we find out a lot about the demons. Demons are basically magical beasts that are fully sentient, and they are very predatory on other sentient beings. They eat other sentients.
Yeah.
And the only reason, and Frieren's completely correct, demons use their ability to learn language as a weapon to lure humans and elves and dwarves into a false sense of security to make it easier to kill them than eat them.
Yeah. And you sort of get the impression, like, that can't be. They're thinking rational beings. Like, they're just people, right? And we see evidence over and over and over again that, no, Frieren's entirely right. Like, this is not a prejudice born of past trauma or just good old-fashioned hatred. This is hard-won experience trying to be the good guy in the past.
Yeah.
And, And it's
there's a scene
depressing, honestly.
Oh, it is. It is very, yeah. Like, there are scenes where you see the demons talking to each other, and they're like, wow, that elf is actually completely onto us.
Can't have that.
And like the leader of the group is like, she seems familiar for some reason. Why can't I put my face? Oh no, that's Frieren the Slayer. Oh god, we have to kill her.
But he doesn't do the math
Later, true.
until later. Like
He just knows she's dangerous and powerful. That's all he
Yeah.
knows.
Well, they use it as a way of expanding on and exploring the magic system.
Yeah.
right.
Because it's going to become important in the last arc of the series.
Yep.
But just to go back to the language thing, it's like I wasn't really sure, like, because with a lot of these things, you can quite easily play it off, saying it's like, you know, they communicate in another way, but they're just liars. It's not that they're liars,
Right.
It's that they are, like I said, they're primitive beasts. That it's a hunting tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. Sorry, go ahead.
We get a flashback to the past
Yep.
where they discover this demon, a young girl,
Yep.
who's screaming for a mother.
Yep.
She's screaming, "Mother, mother, mother!" And even though she's killed a young girl in the town, the chief shows mercy on her. Even though Himmel and Frieren are saying, "No, don't do it."
Well, Frieren saying don't do it. Himmel's like, I guess we
Himmel's-
give her a chance.
Yeah, give her a
Himmel's
shot.
like, no, she's crying for her mother. She clearly like doesn't know any better.
Yeah,
We can
and
teach
and-
her how to be a person. She
we
doesn't
give
have to be a monster.
and we give it all of about a week. I think it takes before. And again, this is a bit of a spoiler, but it takes all of a week. But she ends up murdering and eating the
mayor.
the mayor, the chief.
The mayor,
Who shows-
and married his wife, but not their daughter.
Yes.
Because her whole cutting plan is to pay off the family who's pissed at the daughter she ate before with this one.
Yes. So everyone will leave me alone, and we're all even. You now have a child.
And this child now has a family, I guess, whatever that means. But sure.
So whatever that means to humans. So there you go. And everyone's appalled, and Frieren, Frieren's like, "Can I deal with this now?"
Yeah.
And Himmel's like, no,
"Yes,
I got
fine."
this.
It was my fuck up. I'll deal with it. I'm
Yeah.
the one that vouched for her.
Yep.
But as Himmel raises his sword, she starts going, "No, mommy, and she asks why. Frieren says, "Why do you keep shouting for a mother? You don't have a mother." Because I'm not really sure what it is, but it's a word that stops you from killing us.
Yeah.
That's the level they're at.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing is they are very clear. They clearly have a society of sorts. The demons do.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are intelligent. They are intelligent. They just do not think at all like other species. They have no familial bonds.
Yeah.
Like their
there's-
society is entirely structured on power.
Yeah.
Like, which ties into another bit we find out later, which is also really fucking cool. We'll get to that in just a bit.
Yeah.
Like,
But
holy
literally,
fuck, that's cool.
Demons operate on the biggest is the best.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the whole scene, like this whole scene, basically turns out like one of the demons goes down to kill Frieren because he's like, well, fuck it, the boss thinks she's dangerous. I'll take care of her that way. And yeah, he gets Frieren kicks the guy's ass.
Does not know who is fucking.
No,
with.
he does not. Frieren's like he basically has this like invisible like magic wire stuff and like wraps around Frieren's neck to try to cut her head off. She like blocks it with magic and she's like, okay, yeah, that's powerful. That the wires are very powerful. I don't think I can break them easily. Ah, see, it's like, wait, you think that me saying that is gonna let you win? I can't I can't cut through the wires. I can cut your hands off with magic though. What?
It's actually a great bit where he comes in. It's like, "Hi, I'm here to kill you," and she's like, "Huh? You think you can do that, huh?" He's like, "Yes, I'm very strong. If you say so. You think you're strong?" "Yeah, warning you, I'm quite strong. Stronger than my boss. Stronger than him. I'm stronger than his boss."
He's like, bullshit. You can't be that powerful. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Fucked around.
Found
and
out. And now he's dead.
I actually kind of appreciate this because this is almost like the first time that we've seen Frieren being that cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes her stoicism and her like patience can come across as being very like lax
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit ditzy. But when she's serious, like she's not going to show you the emotion, but you're fucked.
Oh yeah.
When- she doesn't. She's not a merciful person in any regard.
Well, it depends on who. She's merciful with some people.
But
With
yeah,
sorry, she's merciful with
learned that
people.
Demons, yeah, but she's learned that demons that the mercy is wasted on them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And again, that's very sad. Like
Oh, yeah.
I felt bad about that.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it's
they
very
are
clear.
they do a great job making the aliens just familiar enough. Not the aliens, the demons familiar enough for you to feel bad about things, but also completely alien in their outlook and how they interact with stuff.
Yeah, they are legitimately alien. It's really well done.
Like they
Yeah.
will literally have a conversation with you. Like in fact, it's what they're doing. It's what they're doing in town. We haven't even touched that yet. They're there to negotiate with the townspeople and the leader there, for peace between the demon clans and the town, because it's not beneficial for either side the way things are going, and it's just because the town's got this huge magical barrier that's been put up that's completely impregnable.
Yep.
And they obviously, but at the same time, the townspeople can't go out and farm and do that shit because.
So clearly, they've got to work on a diplomatic solution of some sort. This is not at all a manipulation by the demons to take down the barrier.
They literally say once this deal is done and we get the lot on our side, we send a message to our leaders and they can raise the town. Like there would be not even any pretense. It's like a case of the defenses are down. Cool, kill everyone.
Yep.
Everything they say is a lie.
Yep.
Whatever it takes to get you, they're like salespeople.
Yep. You basically,
anything to get you to sign on the dotted line.
Yeah. Like there's a bit where he's like,
dealership.
the leader of the demons there, the guy who's the leader of the diplomatic commission there, like he's talking the duke or whatever it is, I forget the guy's title, but he's talking about his son dying out in the field and all that, dying out in the battle against demons and all this stuff, and we're going out to fight demons and such. And like you can see the demons are doing, like you can almost see it like going one place. Okay, so son is an important relationship for the humans, and so is this father thing. Right. Okay, I can use that. And he starts using the terms without understanding the actual meaning behind them, but he can use them in a context of this is an important relationship for humans. I don't know what it is, but I know it's important to them, and I can use it to manipulate them.
Yeah. He literally starts talking about his own father.
Right.
Yeah.
And his relationships and all the rest of it, and he turns the king to his side. And he's speaking to his aide afterwards, and the aide says, "So what's a father?"
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I just figured it out through context.
Yeah.
Like,
It's really cool and depressing, and just like, oh my god, this is so well done.
Yeah.
Oh, the writing in this bit's so good. So yeah, Frieren basically says, okay, well, the demon came in here and killed my guard, and when demons die, their bodies completely disappear. And the door to my cell is open. Well, I'm leaving. And I'm leaving town because, A, it'd be annoying if they thought I killed the guard. That'd be annoying. B, one of the 7 stages of destructions out there, I should go deal with them.
Yeah.
Or the guillotine's out there, I should probably deal with her.
Yeah.
I've got a chance to. All right, I'm leaving town. Oh, hi, Fern Stark. Yeah, I'm leaving town because the ostensible reason is because of the guard thing.
right.
You guys should probably, I think you guys could probably say, like, get people, like, try to keep everybody in town as safe as you can. Like, I don't know. If you have to deal with the 2 remaining demons, I trust you'll be able to handle them. Bye. At least, get people, evacuate the town or something. I don't know.
Right. But I can do no good here. Time for me to go.
I do actually like that as well. That this is like one of the first times, because like it's not that Frieren doesn't trust the kids, but this is the first time that it's like, oh, this is a major villain that's been played up to us, a very, very dangerous and a true threat. And Frieren's like, no, you can handle them. What?
Yeah, Fern doesn't know how to deal. Doesn't know how to. Fern doesn't really. He doesn't really believe they can at the first. And so this leads to they bust into. They say, okay, we're going to save the Duke, and we'll get people out of town. Like, we can't beat these demons, but we can at least save the people, right? Right. Okay, cool. They have this plan to save the Duke, and Fern's like, okay, well, if need be, if the demon leader shows up, buy me time so I can set up a nuke to just nuke him. Maybe I can catch him from ambush and kill him. And they do exactly that. I won't spoil the whole scene, but it's really good.
Yeah.
And but she doesn't kill the demon. Hurts him badly. He's kind of like, what the fuck?
That's when he does the math. It's like, wait, that wasn't basic attack magic. It looked like a basic attack magic, but that was modulated specifically to murder demons. This was, fuck, that elf is Frieren.
Yeah. Oh fuck. The Slayer's here. Okay.
This is all things that, again, not going bit by bit, because this is all stuff you pick up. The different schools of magic that they discuss, like the human magic, demon magic, holy magic, all different schools, different different techniques and a different feel of the magic, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So a bunch of human magic has advanced since the war, since they beat the Demon King, because they Frieren basically studied a lot of their spells and passed it on to the human mages.
Yes, which is hilarious, because one of the first bits we get of this is she goes to deal with a demon lord that
they sealed because they couldn't beat him at the time.
Yes, and apparently he was an innovator in demon kind who came up with all these new spells.
So he came up with this spell called Zoltrak, which is like the ultimate attack spell.
The ultimate death spell, which basically just disintegrates people and rips them apart on a cellular level, and it's really nasty stuff. And she resurrects and starts casting it, and Frieren's like, Fern, do you recognize that?
That's just basic offensive magic.
That's basic offensive magic. Yeah, that's when I started teaching it to the mages about 70 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, demon mage here. Yeah, you were too good at magic. So we learned. So your innovation. Well, we studied on it, and humans learn things fast.
Yeah. Way faster than elves or dwarves.
So this has become a staple. So the really cool thing about that scene, honestly, is like the demon they're fighting is figuring this shit out, like figuring out the changes as they're fighting. It's really fucking spooky, actually.
And it's also a very important thing, because it's the first time we see the power of Fern's defensive magic.
Yeah.
Because she's got a bit of a hair trigger when it comes to her spellcasting in general.
Yeah. Yeah, Fern's big talent is she casts spells faster than almost anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a really cool scene. But yeah, the big fight between basically Fern ends up squaring off with the leader, the diplomatic leader, and his melee fighting bodyguard squares off with Stark. And for a while, the demons are winning and winning and winning.
Yeah.
But like the fight between Fern and the diplomat demon, basically, despite him getting one shot at that hurt her a fair bit, after that he can't really hit her, and she starts overwhelming with spellcasting speed. And he's like, okay, this is fine. This is going to be an endurance contest. I can see her mana levels. She's going to run out before I do. Why is she not running out?
She should be gassed by now. Wasn't she gassed? Well, clearly I just misjudged her. It'll be soon. Why isn't it soon? This is going on way too long. What's going on?
My defenses are now being completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, all the while she's blocking everything that he's sending at her, and her attacks are getting faster.
Yeah. And he
finally figures it out, and he starts swearing at her for being a deceitful human.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second. It's beautiful. So Stark basically he's like the demon he's fighting. Her magic is basically copying from memories of everybody. She's copying the fighting styles of everybody she's ever crossed blades with, and she starts using, because she's able to read who Stark trained with. She starts using Eisen's fighting style against him, and it's kicking his ass with it. And then he realizes, wait a minute. He just doesn't give up. Like, she's like, aha, I've got you injured. You're gonna die. Why are you not giving up? Why are you keep coming? Well, that's what Aizen taught me to do. Do you not? You don't understand Aizen's fighting style, do you? Oh, this is going to be easy then. What?
He ends up. The thing is as well. This is where his cowardice. They kind of deal with that as well because he's playing full defense.
Yeah.
He's like
Yeah.
avoiding, blocking, dodging, parrying, just not attacking back. And she's taunting him about, oh, you don't understand your master's fighting style. You're not doing. And eventually he goes, well, yeah, you don't understand his fighting style, but you're right. I've been doing it wrong too. Just steps forward into her attack. Her axe smashes straight into the side of his ribs.
And he kills
Penetrates, but doesn't go that deep. And he's like, huh. I was scared of that.
Yeah.
Kills her.
You don't have any strength behind your blows at all. She's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
This is it? This is all you've got?
I love her reaction. Just, wait, what?
Yeah. She gets
Dead.
a clean shot to his ribs, and just because of how tough he is after Aizen's training, it's just like, nope.
Yeah, he's just like, this is what I was defending against. This is what I was so worried about. This is.
Oh, I could have killed you ages ago.
This is it? I was so worried.
It's so good.
Such a great turnaround.
So we get to see Frieren going to go confront Aura during all of this. And
Or as the demon prince. Involved.
She's the one 7 stages directing. Aura the guillotine. And one of her things, she's got this artifact called the Scales of Obedience. And it's her big trump card. And what it does is she basically takes her soul and the soul of her target and weighs the mana levels between the two. And the person who has the most mana, the loser of that contest, cannot disobey the other one.
Yeah.
And she's a really, really old demon with immense power. And it's like, yeah, this is my trump card. Nobody can meet me on this.
Well, again, this is what they explain. So demons, like I said, they operate on biggest is best.
Yep.
They're basically orcs.
Yep.
And it's
Orcs
a case
are much
of
cooler than demons, but
based on their power level and their mana reserve. So essentially, demons can see each other's mana.
yeah.
Their ability to perceive mana is very high. Like it's better than like almost anybody's.
It's a part of their basic suite of senses.
Yes.
To perceive mana. It's just being blind to mana is like being blind to everything else.
Right. So yeah, but basically, Frieren basically spends on fighting Aura's army and deals with it. And Aura's like, you used to do things in incredibly flashy and explosive ways. And Frieren's like, honestly, Himmel got really annoyed with me about doing that especially with see, your army here is a bunch of the dead bodies of human warriors and such. And if I were to completely nuke them, Himmel would be sad about that. So nah, I'm not doing that.
I'm not going to do that.
But
they have nothing left to bury. So
and Aura's like, wow, but what you're doing is a huge waste of mana. Okay, this will make things much easier. I'll burn through her mana, and then I'll use the scales. They just guarantee a win. Haha. And so, use the scales. And Aura's like, now you're going to obey me. And wait, why is it evening out? Why is it tipping to Frieren's side? Wait, what? Wait, no, this is impossible. I'm a 500-year-old demon. You're just some elven mage who fought the demon lord. Like, I can see your mana levels. Oh, no, you can see what my mana levels are, what the levels to which I'm suppressing them are. What? No, I can tell if you're suppressing them. There's no ripple or anything like this. How long do you have to train to do that? About a millennia.
Yeah.
500-year-old demon versus at least 1,000-year-old elf.
Yeah, she actually literally says, by the way, I'm an elven mage who's been alive, who's been studying magic for at least 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And Aura's like, what?
Well, the thing is, the demons don't even know that hiding your mana level is even possible.
They don't, the second it's ever revealed to them, they go, oh, that's possible. You dirty bat, why would you do that? That is so, that's wrong. It's fundamentally disrespectful. What the hell? Because power level is everything to a demon.
Yeah.
It's how they determine their ranks in society.
Which is fucking hilarious when they, like you say, the way that they've abused and used human society and language and everything else, and the indignation that they get when you realize that you're abusing their system.
Yep.
It's glorious.
It's so good. Oh my
But yeah,
god.
so like, Frieren decides to show Aura the real thing, and this tower of mana just expands into this inferno that you cannot see the edge.
Yeah.
Frieren is a monster.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, but the big thing is like normally it's just like normally people when look at Freya and they say, oh yeah, you could, they look at her mana like, yeah, you've got the aura of an old experienced wizard. Not this tower, not this like font of borderline endless mana. Like,
Yeah. And the fun thing is, she taught Fern how to do it too.
yep,
Yeah.
A double dose of did not know who was
fucking with. The reason that Fern wasn't running out of mana is that the demon lord, she should be out of mana now. She was suppressing her mana too, and she's very good at it.
Because she was training under Frieren, who
Yep.
was like, you suppress your mana level, you keep it down all the time. Even when you're sleeping, you keep it down.
They even say that Frieren even acknowledges that Fern's actual control, mana control, may actually be better than Frieren's.
Oh no, the implication that Fern will be better at this than Frieren.
That's why she can cast so quick.
Yeah.
Because she has better mana control.
Like, the implication as you go throughout the show is that Frieren looks at Fern and goes, yeah, she is going to be a better mage than I am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She is going to be a goddamn legend. Like, my edge is I'm old as fuck. I do not have her talent. And this does not bother Frieren at all. It's really so cool.
Well, she's very much like, well, this is inevitable. Like, I've known humans humans have been around for a long time. This was inevitable.
Yeah.
It was going to happen.
Yep, humans are going to surpass elves. Cool. So they save the town, everything's cool, and they have another bit of adventure. But the next big stumbling block they have is that they can't go past a certain point north without being accompanied by a first-class mage.
They're like, well, aren't you a first-class mage? I never bothered with the license system. It's
What, you're an unlicensed mage? Well, they keep changing the system every century or so.
Decade, there's another revision or a new standard to meet, and you have to go and take it again. It's just every decade this happens. Every decade, you know how frequent that is.
I've got this holy symbol thing that I was given to indicate that I'm a skilled mage. Would this help? And everyone's like, what the hell is that? I was given it by my teacher a millennia ago.
Yeah.
Back when she convinced the Empire to let her teach magic to humans.
I'm sorry. Your identification is no longer valid.
So they go to the town where they're giving the tests. And like, Fern has actually passed an actual test at some point.
Yeah, I think
So she's ranked at all. So she can qualify to take the first rank test. Frieren has no ranking, so they're like, just go in. Like, I've got this thing, and like one of the one of the like higher ups in the lawsuit sees it. Wait, what the fuck? You've got what? Oh, no, let her in. No, she can take the test.
I am the only person in this entire city that could recognize that. That is important.
Well, not entirely true, it turns out.
Well, no. The other person who can is not in the city at the time.
Yeah.
So the rest of the series is basically the rest of the season is basically the test to see if Frieren or either Frieren or Fern can be classified as a first class mage.
It is, for all intents and purposes, a tournament arc. It is good, and it's only afterwards you go, huh, that was a tournament arc.
Right.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, so basically all the mages are broken up. The first test, there are 3 tests. And if you make it through all 3, you get to be your class as a first class mage. The first test, basically the guy who sets it up, basically it's like, okay, so here's this bird. What I want is everybody has this little cage. You're breaking into teams of 3. Everybody who has caught a bird by the and still has it at the end of 3 days.
A live bird.
A living bird.
Alive.
The bird has to be alive. Anyone who has that by the end of 3 days, congratulations, you passed the test. Now, there are a couple of things. There's a magic barrier over the area that prevents anything from getting in or out. That's point one. Point two, the bird is not, it looks like this little songbird. Not an ordinary bird.
Power pigeon.
Yeah. It is incredibly powerful and very sensitive to mana.
As in aversion. It does not like mana.
Well, the thing, its primary predators use mana to hunt it. So...
Which happens to be the flying monsters that are just skulking around.
Yep. And like so, Frieren is not paired up with Fern. She's paired up with these two other young mages. Whom are seem very adversarial to one another. They clearly know each other very well.
Yeah.
They are also very clearly a couple.
Yeah.
They're actually kind of adorable.
They kind of are.
One's an ice mage, one's a water mage. And the water mage has a real problem that since there's not a lot of sources of water, most of her best stuff is sort of cut off.
Yeah.
So they Frieren's like, okay, so one thing, I saw the bird is, I know what this bird is. One thing you guys, we need to is keep an eye on the sky at all times. Because it turns out there are flying monsters up there. And two, guys. So there's one of the birds we're trying to catch. We should try to catch. No, don't try up there try to catch. Oh dear, you're freezing in place. That's a good attempt, but it just busted out and flew off at Mach 3. So didn't get to tell you about that. So we meet a whole bunch of new characters, and a lot of the new mages we're introduced to are really cool characters.
Yeah.
The most notable ones, as far as I'm concerned, are Ubel, who is terrifying.
He's the murder kitten, right?
She's a murder kitten, yes.
Okay.
She is not right in the head, but she's also she's actually genuinely a really cool character.
Yeah, she has a really cool power set as well for somebody in her position.
Yeah.
Like because she's that way out, she like the first thing we see to her is, she's killing bandits basically on the road that are trying to they're trying to jump travelers, but she's not defending herself, kind of. She's
trying to bait them into doing it because she wants to kill them.
Yeah, she's looking for a reason, basically.
She likes killing people. She enjoys it. She is a psychopath.
Yeah, but her power set, her skill, her magic set, because of that, is actually really fucking interesting.
So the really interesting thing is, like, she's, from what I can tell, like, it's highly implied she's got zero formal training.
Yes.
Like she's, in D&D terms, she is a sorcerer, not a wizard.
Yes.
And the whole premise on magic is, like, as long as you can visualize it and you know what spells to throw at it, you can do it.
Yep.
So she's got no formal training, which means she isn't in any kind of conceptual box. So it's really hard for her to do certain things, but other things other mages can't do. She's like, what? It's just how you do it.
She's not had some dusty old fucker with a big hat going, no, you can't do that.
Right.
She's also very good at learning new spells by studying studying the spells as they're being cast and the people, and learning how the people there, and learning to empathize with the person who's casting it, like figuring out how they think and such.
She steals spells through empathy. I liked that. That was.
She's a really cool character. She's horrifying, but she's really cool.
The thing that they do is, well, again, the in-depth magic system. At this point, we start to, like, or rather, we don't realize that Frieren and Fern have been doing this the whole time. But in, as they say, modern magic, because humans have only got such a limited mana battery, you tend to specialize in a certain form.
Yep. And
get better. So, like Peter's already said, we've got a water caster
and an ice caster.
We've got her that learns spells through empathy. There's a geomancer. There's, I don't think we have a pyromancer.
Not really. A pyromancer. We see a couple different versions of geomancy.
Yeah. The important bit is that the reason
one's mind magic. That,
Yeah.
But essentially, they realize that all these different mages are very different because they all study different schools, and
they all have
It's
a,
not
sort
to
of, they
say
sort of
that-
focus on what they have a knack for. And the other big thing is that it's much easier to do these like using magic to manipulate or create or use actual materials. It's much
Yes.
easier
Yeah.
because again, magic's about what you can visualize.
But it's at this point we start to realize that Fern and Frieren, because of the training that she's given Fern, they start to say that they only use very basic levels of magic.
They use the
They don't
basic
use
attack
complicated
spells.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally just the basics.
And because Fern, as they said, yeah, Fern, in combat, especially against other mages, just only use. Fern says she learned other spells, but
Yeah.
Fern wants her to use basic magic because that's all you need to beat another mage. And like the other mages are like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, and like one of the duels Fern gets in with, she like their opponent's like, it's like I'm looking at an old woman, like it's very like she's.
Yeah.
Like it's like an antique magic, and like, but Fern just overpowers her with speed and precision and overwhelming amounts of magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of you two said it when we were watching it. It's the Bruce Lee quote.
Yeah,
You don't fear the guy that knows 1,000 different kicks. You fear the guy that's done one kick 1,000 times.
yeah. But yeah, so that's one of them. The second really important is Werble, who's basically a military mage,
Yep.
who's seems like a bit of a dangerous killer type, but he's a soldier really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't
And
like killing people. He's just good at it.
yeah, he's good at it. And he does it to protect his village and his country, and he's good at it. And
He scores off with
missing-
Ubel actually, and it's a really fascinating fight.
yeah, it's a really fascinating fight because she's like, "You don't actually want to kill me, do you?" No, I really have to psych myself up to kill someone.
Yeah. And she's like, huh, interesting. Well, all right then. And Ubel's like, yeah, so, this is, et cetera, yeah. Why are you not worried? Well, I figured that Fern should be done with her opponent right about now. What do you mean? She's facing someone who's actually a more powerful spellcaster than I. Fern's pointing her staff at my neck right now, isn't she? Well, fuck. Well, we lose.
Yeah.
Also, Fern lies about killing the person he was fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh well, that's the other big thing is that every member of the team has to be alive.
Yes,
Yeah.
which again it shows you a little glimpse into the personalities because the guy's like, well, if one of his team's dead, fine. Here's the bird, whatever.
So yeah, here's your bird back because they'd caught one.
Yeah. If we can't pass, there's no point fucking up for you guys. So away
Yep.
you go.
And Noble's like, huh? You didn't kill her, did you? Nope.
Nope.
Well, aren't they gonna come after us? Not at this point. She's like, okay. But most of the time we see is all Frieren and her two party members, and they're being hunted by another party led by the third most important mage here, Denkin.
Yeah.
Denkin fucking rocks.
Denkin's the old man.
He's the old
Denkin's
man.
very much a political creature.
Yeah, or he was realistically. He was a political creature who's gotten so old at the point he's like, yeah, I don't care about the politics of it anymore. Why am I want to be a first class mage so I can go visit my hometown, go back to my hometown, just past the wall. Like he doesn't care about the trap, everything you get with being a first class mage. There's stuff you get.
Yeah.
It's like that's not important.
He's
to me.
already had that.
Yeah.
He says as a young man, he was like, he was quite vicious. They said in the political theater, he would use his magic to gain more power.
Oh yeah, he was a dangerous, vicious man. He sort of just melded with age at this point.
Yeah.
The way some people do, not everybody. But yeah, so like he's like studying the party. And his group is the I forget the other guy, the geomancer's name, who's kind of a vicious bastard actually.
Yeah.
And then this other girl who's kind of seemed like has some connection with Denkin. We don't know what it is yet. But her main magic trick is teleportation.
Oh, how can you forget the geomancer's name? It's literally Richter.
Oh God, yeah, of course it is.
Right, yeah.
So basically,
And Lao Fen. And Lao Fen.
and Lao Fen, yeah, Lao Fen. Lao Fen's,
speedster.
I like. She's great.
Yeah. She
But-
basically, she's not. It's kind of teleport, but it's kind of a mix between teleportation and speed boost.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, it ends up being a duel. Denkin and Frieren end up dueling, and Frieren's the two young mages scoring off against Richter. And Richter is kicking their asses because, and Denkin told them, "Don't kill them, just incapacitate them. You don't need to kill them." And Richter's like, "But there's no rules against killing them." And he's like, I know, but there's no need to. Bloodshod's not necessary, dude.
It's not required to achieve our goals and has potentially serious drawbacks down the line.
Yeah. Because Denkin is not an idiot. And he also is fairly...
He's learned from experience.
Right. Also, like, it's very clear he also realized that, yeah, Frieren's more powerful than I am. But I can buy time, I think I can buy enough time with Frieren for Richter to beat those two. And if he does that, then they can't continue. Okay, this is great. I can buy time. He proceeds to buy time, and like the other two are sort of doing okay. They're sort of fighting defensively and trying not to lose, basically, because one of them really can't do anything, and Richter's going after the water mage heavily, but she really can't do a lot. Most of her offensive magic, and like you can see the fact that like the ice mage, I forget their names, but she's like, "You're afraid of my friend. I don't know. I think I know why, but like I can't do anything about it." And it gets to the point where Frieren started to go, "Okay, yep. Well, I think I've done studying the shield." And Denkin's like, what do you mean studying the shield? Why are you studying the shield? It was put up by Sarai, the leader of the mage guild, the most powerful mage in the world. Why would you? You can't break the shield. Frieren breaks the shield.
Yeah, Frieren sort of goes, I mean, she thinks she's the most powerful mage in the world, and she probably is.
But no spell's unbreakable. Shadow the Shield. There's a thunderstorm brewing overhead, by the way.
Yeah.
So it starts raining, and we get to see what happens to an Earth Mage when they're fighting a Water Mage in the rain. And the line is, "I bet you can't envision how you could possibly beat a Water Mage when it's raining, right?" And he's like, "Fuck." Oh, I'm screwed. And Laoen is basically out of mana at this point, so she really can't contribute anymore.
Yeah.
So Frieren, they get their bird and they take off. And Denkin, I love the bit with Denkin and Richter. Denkin's like, well, we failed, and Denkin's like, well, there's a pair over there. They've got a bird, but their third member's dead. Okay, and you think they'll give us the bird? No, they won't give it. They won't give it to us.
They won't give it to us. They'll fight us for it.
They'll fight us for it.
But they're out of juice.
And
so
we're out of juice. Yeah. Denkin cracks his knuckles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Richard's like, what? Fisticuffs, dude. So they beat them up and take
two of them. Let's go.
So they get the bird. Also, oh god, what's his name again? Why can't I remember his name all of a sudden?
Which dude?
The military mage. I can't remember his name all of a sudden.
Oh yeah. I don't remember his name.
It starts with a W.
Wibble.
Wibble, yeah. Wibble basically, like Wibble and like his buddies are like, fuck. Well, we're screwed. We can't possibly stumble across a bird. Like a bird, like literally lands on like Wirble's shoulder. And he's like, well, I've got an immobilization spell. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of a plot fairy there for future, encounters, but yes.
Well, I love the fact he's like, yeah, we just got incredibly lucky.
Yeah.
So like about half the teams don't pass, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, they actually do straight out kill a number of people off.
Oh, a bunch of people die. Yeah.
Yeah. Put it this way, the what are they? They're not griffins, are they?
There's some monster, but like there are a bunch of them died to the monsters. There are a bunch that are like because they weren't watching the sky.
Yeah. So they basically say, those things don't just eat birds.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's actually really, really nasty as well because one of them's like, well, shall we go at least cut the bodies down and so they can be recovered? And I think it's Werble who's like, no, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Why not?
Why?
Well,
Look up.
you see the
And
birds.
the rest of them are circling the tree, waiting for somebody to try and make a move on the
Yeah,
body.
they basically they're using those as bait. Like, oh fuck. So the two proctors are overwatching this. One of them is the Genau, who's the guy who's overseeing this particular. He's the one who came up with this test, and the other is Sense, who's a female mage, whom is often saying like, Genda, this is a really nasty. This is a nasty test. It's like, yeah, well, it should be. This is the kind of thing that Sarai wants. And Sense is like, he's like, I'm not a pacifist like you are.
Yeah.
And also, like, your tests are rougher than mine. Almost nobody ever passes yours.
She's like, yeah, but no one dies. They can always come back and try again.
Yeah. She's kind of got a point.
And to be fair, there's a reason why barely anybody passes serious tests, and it's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get to see her test, which is really cool. Basically, it's, okay, here we are. We're at this dungeon. We're going to, if you can get to the bottom of the dungeon, you pass. I'll be going down with you. I know. Here, everyone, you get this little bottle. In this bottle is a golem. If you break the bottle, the golem will sprout out and rush you out of the dungeon safely, and you cannot come back in. This is you saying, "Yep, I'm done. I'm out." The dungeon is very dangerous.
I encourage you to use it to use your golem. Please use your golem if your life is in danger.
Yes.
You can always try again the next time we hold one of these.
Yep. So the first thing that happens is Denkin goes, "Okay, we should all work together to solve this dungeon together as a group."
Yeah. There's nothing in the rules that says we can't do that. We're not actively competing against each other. All we have to do is reach the bottom.
And a bunch of people are like, "Fuck that noise. I don't trust anybody here. I'm going down on my own."
Yeah.
And Denkin's like, "Oh, you idiots."
Well, here's the thing. That's not necessarily a bad reaction to have.
Oh, no,
either.
it's
literally
understandable.
Just there trying to murder each other.
Right, no, it's understandable. But you also get why Denkin's like, "Oh, yeah, of course
Yeah.
they're not following my advice. But my advice is good." And Frieren's like, "Well, if everyone's not grouping up together to go down, Frieren, let's go."
Yeah.
And since the proctor's like, "I'll go with you guys, I guess. You two seem like you're competent, and Frieren is Frieren. I've heard the name at least."
Yeah.
And as they go down, we get to see in action Frieren's one major weakness as an adventurer. She cannot resist the treasure chest, especially a mimic.
Yeah.
She is a loot fiend.
See, I'm pretty
There might
sure I'm 90% sure this is 99% sure this is a mimic. But that 1% chance that there's a ancient grimoire in there is just too much to pass up.
It's not even like a 1% chance there's an ancient grimoire, but there's 1% chance that there's a treasure inside.
Yeah.
And there's a 1% chance that treasure might actually be a grimoire. And that might be a 1,000% chance, but I gotta go. Those are good odds.
Smash cut to her getting eaten by a gimmick. A mimic.
I love the bit. So you see Fern try to pull her, and Fern's like, no, Fern, push me in. It makes the mimic gag.
Yep, she knows. She's experienced enough to know how to get out.
But after this happens, you can see Seth going, "I think I picked the wrong group."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out, no, she didn't.
No.
And as they're going down,
not the
Frieren insists on exploring every inch of every floor of the dungeon.
Yes.
Because this is what Himmel used to do, and she learned to enjoy doing dungeons with Himmel. It's like, you can
really enjoys dungeons, just in general, just exploring them.
Yeah. It's one of the things she learned from Himmel, and I get to it's a brand new dungeon. This is cool. And Fern's like, and Sense is like,
these are so rare. Do you know how rare an unexplored dungeon is?
So they go down and they're taking their sweet time, and Sense is like, okay, I guess. There's nothing in the rules about doing it fast, I guess. So sure.
Yeah.
But she knows what's in the dungeon. She's like, I wouldn't do this if I were you. So there's a bunch of the groups going down, and we get to find out what the actual real danger of the dungeon is. there's a magical beast there that is on its own physically not much of a threat. But what it can do is it can scan anybody in the dungeon and create a perfect magical replica of them. That copies their abilities, their mana, and their techniques, and can sort of replicate the way they think perfectly. Frieren is in the dungeon.
Yeah.
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 As is Sense. So, a bunch of people get beat up, and like I think some people are killed by I think a couple of people are killed by the thing, but I don't think so. I think a bunch of people are badly injured, and they break the golem. The golem carries them out and then heals them.
Yeah.
Sense has planned for this very well, honestly.
Yeah.
But so like Denkin and his group get to the bottom because a few people actually do team up with Denkin because they realize, well, there's not a lot of us, but it can't hurt. Sure.
Yeah,
So
basically Denkin waits around until like, okay, is this everybody that's gonna hang out with me? Okay, let's all go.
Yeah. So they're the first one down to the very bottom. And they open the door to the final chamber and they're like, that's a duplicate of Frieren. Oh, fuck. Close the door.
That door.
Yeah, it's an open door. See. Oh dear, close the door.
And their first thing is like, okay, Denkin, what do we do? Well, if I didn't have a larger goal, I would have shattered my golem as soon as I saw that. They're like, that bad, huh?
That bad.
Yeah.
None of it. If that is anything like, if that is what I think it is, and is basically a perfect copy of Freeman, we can't beat that. Us, can't beat that. So what do we do? Well, maybe we could paralyze it. You're good at mind magic. Can you paralyze it? I have no idea. Fuck. Doesn't even have a mind.
If they actually have minds.
And if you say it's as powerful as Frieren, I need Frieren to find out if I can figure out if I can actually affect Frieren. Okay, good point. Well, Frieren will be down here eventually.
So we'll just wait.
And we eventually find out that, what happens is all the duplicates are there to herd everyone down to the bottom where they grab them together and murder them, basically. So, yeah, so basically what ends up happening, the long short of it is, Frieren gets down there, the mind mage, the woman who's pretty good at mind magic is like, okay, Frieren, I'm going to try some things, if that's okay. Yeah, sure. All right. I'm going to try to use a mind control spell. Well, I can't use a mind control spell. I can't affect her with this mind control spell. Her mental defenses are impressive. Like, yes, there are ways through them because they're old. They're old techniques, but there's so much power behind them I can't break through. Huh. She tries one of the things she tries is like an empathy spell, like by hugging her, and you see Fern getting very jealous, which is adorable. After she lets her go, Fern sort of like wraps her around her behind her. It's like, my mom, no.
My mom. This is my mom. Piss off.
But we also find out from the other like mind mage from earlier who runs into Sense's copy and tries to work on it. It's like, okay, well, I will use this spell that if this has a mind, it will lock her down for like 12 seconds, maybe. We might have a shot then. All right. Attempts to use it. Nope, it doesn't have a mind. Fuck. It's just doing a really good job at replicating having a mind. Fuck. Well, golem break. I'm out.
Yeah, because she gets hit
hard.
Bad
Yeah.
Well, Sense's copy shows off her power, and it's like Sense is like this really small girl with just this unruly mop of hair.
Yeah.
And it turns out she basically controls her hair using magic. It's almost like a 360-degree defense system.
Also, it's basically unbreakable.
It's unbreakable. Yeah. It's spiked,
razor sharp.
Shoots,
yeah.
Razor sharp. Yeah. Extendable. It's like fighting Venom essentially. And yeah, it just impales people.
Yeah. It's horrifying.
No one can handle it. It takes out of the characters we mentioned. It alone deals with Richter, at least one or two of the girls.
Yeah, it does a number on a bunch of people. It is eventually beaten by Ubel.
Yes.
And it is amazing.
And the reasoning for it is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So, Ubel's her own personal magic that she does that's unique to her is she has this the spell that can cut stuff, and it is invisible and lightning fast. But she can't cut through this hair because this hair has been reinforced with magic.
Yeah.
So the thing about that is,
yeah.
remember how magic works. Remember, magic works by how you envision it working. Hair is meant to be cut.
Yeah. No one has said to Ubel, that hair can't be cut, it's covered in magic. Because she's like, what do you mean you can't cut hair? You're supposed to cut hair. I cut hair all the time. It's
Right.
fine.
The best part is they're discussing the strategy for dealing with the duplicates. Sense is like, yeah, and Sense, you and Frieren can handle any of the others. Sense is like, I can't take Ubel. What? No way. She's a bad matchup for me. She'll slaughter me. Are you sure? Absolutely.
And she even says it like, there's no way I can envision beating Ubel.
Yeah. It's like, oh dear. So we get to actually say, basically, the plan ends up being Frieren and Fern will take on Frieren's duplicate. Everyone else will buy them time. So they can defeat the duplicate, they can defeat the actual monster, and then everything's done. The fight between Frieren and Fern and Fern's duplicate is fucking amazing.
It is.
Like, and I'm not just talking like the visual spectacle is incredible, but it's just a really well thought out, cool battle.
Yes, and it's very much what's the word I'm looking for? It's very tactical.
Yes.
It's very much it's very much like
And
trying different.
The other really
It's
big
a conversation.
It is. It is also playing on Frieren's one big weakness as a mage.
Yeah.
When she is casting, she can't detect magic. And everyone's like, what do you mean you can't do that? That's just something I never got the hang of.
It's like a sniper that closes his eyes to take the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like everyone, like, why did you tell us? Well, it's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
And against almost everything, it's kind of not really a big problem for me. But against myself, that's a problem. Well, no, it's not really a big problem for me because I'm as fast as me. Fern is faster than I am.
Yeah, Fern can take me.
If I can make my duplicate unable to see her for just long enough. So that becomes the fight. And it's really good. And Fern lands a shot that would kill. Unfortunately, doesn't instantly kill. And the duplicate uses Frieren's sort of ultimate attack on Fern.
Yeah.
To which Frieren's like, wow, I've never been forced to use that except the last time was when I was fighting the Demon Lord. Well done, Fern.
Good job, Fern.
Ow. Also, Fern's staff is shattered into flinders by this.
Yeah.
So they defeat the thing, and they go on to the third and final test. Also, Fern is very sad about her staff being broken, wants it fixed. And Fern said, well, maybe we can get a new one. Fern's like, but Hyder gave me this. And so she's very upset with Frieren, except that Frieren actually has said, well, okay, fair point, and takes it to be repaired. Richter's the guy who runs the shop that does that. And Richter's very like, why don't you just buy a new staff?
Because
it's important. This one
I'm paying you
for. I'm paying you to repair this. Fine. It's like, what? Okay, I know. I understand if you can't repair it. Fuck you. I can repair it.
Yeah,
I can do it.
It's not worth my time, and it's going to cost an astronomical amount of money. Just buy a new staff. Can't take your money for this. Well, if you can't do it, I'll find someone else. Fuck you. I didn't say I couldn't do it. And I know what you're doing. Fuck you. Give me the staff.
Like, he knows she's doing this, but he's like, So the final test is being administered by Sere, who is an elven mage older than Frieren. She is, in fact, Flame's teacher.
Yeah. She's the oldest mage as far as anyone can tell, she's the first mage.
Yes. She is a living grimoire. She knows everything. And one of the rewards for becoming a first-class mage, you can ask her to teach you any spell. and she will do it. Now, Sarai has a very different opinion on what is important for mages. In a lot of ways, her ideas on magic are very similar to the demons. You should flaunt your mana, at least to some degree. There's that. There's also
Magic should be exceptional.
Magic should be exceptional.
The very best should be, and only the very best are worthy of wielding it with any degree of proficiency.
Right, which is different. Flame's goal was everyone should be able to learn magic. Magic is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Also, as far as Sarai's concerned, like magic at its core is for violence.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weapon.
It's a weapon first. And so basically she's like, okay, normally I'd let you guys, the mage associates, like normally I'd let you go into the test, but since too many people have passed your test, I think there are too many people who are too low ranking to have gotten through to this round. It's not your fault. Frieren was there. There's no planning for that. It's not your fault.
She must have helped them. They only passed because she was there.
Yeah. So I'll conduct the last test. It's just going to be an interview.
And basically, it's entirely, people walk in, and depending on how they react to Sarai's magical aura,
yeah,
and most people are freaked out by how powerful she is. And she's like, nope, you pass. You fail. You fail.
You fail. And she might ask a question or two. Like, she asks Wubel, the soldier, like, what do you think magic's for? Oh, for killing people. You pass.
Yeah. Denkin walks in, and, she's like, you're afraid, but you thought about how you might be able to fight me, didn't you? Well, yeah, then I threw it away because I know I couldn't beat you. Doesn't matter. You even thought about it.
Yeah. You considered it. That's a good sign. You pass.
Ubel passes instantaneously. She's like, nope, you pass. Frieren walks in. She looks at Frieren, and Sarah looks at Frieren and says, "You don't think I'm going to pass you, right?" And she's like, "You're not, are you?" She's like, "Well,
you're not."
Well, okay.
You never passed me. You hate my guts. This is true, and you're right. I'm not going to.
The thing is, we see little clips of them throughout the show. Frieren utterly frustrates Siri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly because Frieren's also been influenced by Flame, who also frustrated Siri.
Yeah.
Because they think completely differently.
Yeah.
She goes, fine, I suppose I'll humor you. If you answer this question correctly, I'll grant you your license. What's your favorite spell?
Oh, the spell to create Fleet Flowers.
Fuck you, Frieren. Get out of here. You fail.
Well, I mean, she's like, she asks, how did you beat the Demon Lord like you are? Well, I didn't do it on my own. I had great companions. So you got lucky. Well, technically, yes. But
Wasn't that, I got lucky with the group of people I was hanging out with.
Yeah, and honestly, this spell is what brought the group to me.
Yeah.
Because when Himmel was a kid, he got lost in the woods, and I stumbled across him. And to calm him down so he could get back home, I cast a spell to cheer him up, and he remembered that and remembered me.
Yeah, literally the greatest weapon. The reason why the Demon King fell was a spell that created flowers.
Yeah.
and Siri just she doesn't lose it, but you can see on her face she's like, "Oh, you Frieren." Get the fuck out.
By the way, that spell is also Flame. It was also Flame's favorite spell.
Yes.
Yeah. Fern walks in, and Siri takes one look at her and just gets a big grin on her face.
Well, no, there's a brief moment where she's like, "Oh, she's scared of me," and Fern's like, "Is there a fluctuation in your mana?" And because Sari is actually suppressing her mana to a degree.
Yeah.
Because if it's too big, even powerful mages freak out.
Yeah.
And she's no one can see the fluctuations in her mana, basically.
Yeah.
They have a little scene in the room. We know when she's deciding that she's going to do the last test.
Yeah.
And she's got one guy who's been her apprentice. He's in his 80s or some shit.
Yeah.
And she said, "I had such high hopes for you." And he's like, "Do you even notice anything about my mana?" "No, looks fine to me."
What about your mana?
Yeah. You
Like
can't
he
even
he actually briefly noticed Frieren's mana flicker.
Yeah, but it's taken him like 70 years to get there.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're such a disappointment. And yeah, as Fern walks in, she's got a really weird look on her face, and Siri's like, "Oh, you're afraid of me, aren't you?" Looks at her a little bit longer.
Is there a fluctuation in your mana?
Wait, what are you looking at? Are you fluctuating? And Siri's face is like, "Oh, this one's interesting."
Yeah. You want to come? You want to be my apprentice? I've already got a teacher. I could teach you so much more, though. No, I've got a good teacher. Fine, you still pass.
Because like Fern's worried that Sari's gonna fail her, and Frieren says to her, "No, you don't understand. No matter what I say, Sari's gonna fail me. No matter what you say, she's gonna pass.
Yeah.
Why? Because her instinct is always right, and she will know. Her instinct will tell her you pass, and she knows it. So don't worry about it. Say whatever you like. You don't have to kowtow to any of her demands. Don't worry about it." And Frieren is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Sari's like, fuck. My instincts tell me everything. My gut tells me that she is exactly exactly what I'm looking for in a first class mage, and I can't go against that. And you want to be Frieren's student, okay? God damn it.
You know the best thing about it is the thing that we never see either. I would have loved to have seen a face when Fern chooses the spell that she wants.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good. So yeah, so there's a brief the last little bits of the season are that old mage that was Sari's apprentice at one point. Basically challenges Frieren to a fight, and Frieren's like, why? Well, if I'm able to beat you, then I'll be able to go down in history, and Sarah will never forget me. And Frieren's like, Sarah doesn't forget any of her students.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that. She knows what your favorite spell is.
Yeah.
She'll never forget that. She does not regret any of this. Do not worry. It's not we don't need to fight.
Frieren's like, God, battle mages are so dumb.
Yeah. And that's
You
what
have to do one thing.
this guy's like an old school mage. Like he's not adapted to the way the world's changed. Yeah, we get to find out what Fern's picked spell, which was a spell to clean her clothes, make them smell all clean and fresh, and make them actually clean.
Spell.
Yeah,
She can literally learn any spell in existence. She picks one so that she can instantly clean her clothes and make them smell.
which is turns out it's a legitimately really useful spell.
Yeah,
Especially when you're going to be traveling for years.
Right.
Yes, and as Frieren says, she's, oh wow, that's a really old one. Frieren's impressed by that.
Frieren's impressed by the pick. Sarah's like, oh, for fuck's sake, of course she picked that. Something like that. You're sure you don't want some other? No, you don't. Okay.
This one lets you turn everyone's bones in a 100-yard radius into jelly. Why do I want that?
Immortality?
No. You
Resurrection?
don't understand. It's strawberry jelly.
Why would I want that?
Even worse.
Okay, how about this? How about a true resurrection spell? Why would I want that? That has some weird cost to it, doesn't it? Well, yes. No. I want the cleaning spell.
What about this one? It turns strawberry jelly into bones.
Why would I want that?
Eric, this is why you're not a first class mage.
But yeah, that's basically all of Frieren, really. I mean, that's rough. So like I wasn't sure when I picked this that it was going to be if this was going to be a self-contained story or if it was going to be another more seasons after this. I'm 100. I don't think they've officially announced that there's going to be another season, but there goddamn better will be.
I mean, it is Madhouse, but
Madhouse is notorious for leaving shit half done, but it's.
And I have looked it up, and apparently, of the 8 volumes, I suppose, that are out at the moment, this literally covers 4 of them.
Yeah,
this is half of them. So
that feels about right. This felt about like half the story.
Yeah. It's not a terrible place to leave the anime.
No, it isn't. It's fine. It's there's more story to be told, but we got a largely complete story for the most part.
Yeah, yes. This isn't like freaking No Game No Life or something.
It does not end on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
We know the plan is to go further north, but first we had to go get the license.
Yeah.
And they mentioned the license. It is basically the chief quest from like episode 6
Yeah.
through 24. So
Yeah.
it's the whole, that
Yeah.
is the arc of the first season.
Yep. But yeah, there's a lot of little coda stuff like that. People meeting up, like them meeting up with the other majors who've gone through the tests and such, which is all cute and fun.
Yeah.
Also, the Fern's face when she realized that Frieren got her staff fixed is goddamn adorable.
Yes.
Also, I will say, if you didn't realize, and this is not to sound rude or anything, but if you watch this and you didn't realize going into these tests that Fern was going to pass and Frieren absolutely was not, then you've not been paying attention.
Oh, there's a wonderful moment that there's like a dinner for the people who passed, and they can bring guests, and Fern brings Frieren. And Fern's like, I mean, I guess I'll go. I don't really want to, but I'll go. If you're asking, I'll go. And Sarah's banished her for the next 1,000 years from the place, and Friren's like, well, not like I wanted to go. And
you're not allowed in, Frieren, go away.
And like
bad example for all my students. Get the fuck out of here.
This is very much basically, basically go away for 1,000 years. This is basically Sarah saying, we'll see each other again in 1,000 years. Like, don't.
Yeah.
This is not for Sarah doesn't hate Frieren. Frieren drives her insane. There's a difference. It is very much a case of she wants to she wants to meet up again later, just not right now. And also, it is one of those times when it sounds like Fern saying something that sounds like sour grapes, but it very much is not. It is literally these grapes probably were sour. And Stark's like, yeah, well, if Fern's not going, I guess I'm not going to go either. And Fern's like, okay, sure. Also, I love that all the staff are very apologetic to Frieren about it. Like, we're really sorry.
Yeah.
It's just, and Frieren's like, no, it's just the way Siri is. Don't worry about it. I know.
That's just her. We've known each other for a very long time. We are not friends.
But yeah, I guess I guess final thoughts really, because so Eric, they have then me, I guess.
Okay, so I skipped. I asked us to skip last week because I was I hadn't gotten any sleep before. I didn't think we could do this show justice. I still don't think we've done this show justice.
No, we haven't.
This show's fucking amazing.
Yep.
This is one of the best anime I've seen in a very long time.
Yep.
It's easily my top 5 now. And yeah, I just don't say that about anime I've just seen. I usually have to see them 2 or 3 times before I give them that. This deserves that right off the bat. There is nothing subpar about this anime. Yep. There's nothing that is not superlative about this anime. The animation, the voice work, the pacing, which might be slow, but works beautifully with the story and the themes. The story and the themes, the characters. Like, this is... I cannot sing enough praises. I cannot evangelize this show enough. It is excellent. That's... I am underselling it right now. That's how good this is.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah, that's basically what I gotta say. Like, no notes. Like, nothing's perfect, but this is about as close as I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, my biggest when I was coming into this, I didn't know what to expect because I've. The problem is, as I've mentioned before, if something's overhyped to me, I kind of avoid it. Not deliberately, but just like kind of just pushes me away. But like I said earlier, you've seen Frieren, you've seen the either pictures of, cosplays of, whatever else of. It's the internet. And I was just kind of like, okay, I suppose. It's like Chainsaw Man. I've still not watched Chainsaw Man because everyone was talking about Chainsaw Man. But yeah, like I was kind of about coming to this. Pleasantly surprised that it was a fantasy, as I said earlier, not an isekai or some other variant bullshit. A pure fantasy for once. Great. I think we've only done about 4. And then as the story got going, it's like it's a very, very slow burn, very slow show. But there's so much depth and care put into the character construction, the like I said, the schools of magic, the world in and of itself, dealing with the time skips that at least initially that Frieren has to go through, and then obviously the flashbacks that we deal with, relating everything as she's basically retracing her steps. Also building up the world that there's, even though as old as she is, there's things she doesn't know. There are older elves than her. Craft. We find a statue. Basically, she goes around repairing the statues of
Himmel
her party.
and Himmel, the party and Himmel, yeah, both.
Mostly the Himmel, but it's Himmel and her party. Just making sure that they're clear of vines every now and again, giving them a polish. She's got a handy spell that lets her polish statues, so she uses.
Yeah.
And they find this one statue of another elf, and she's like, "I don't know this guy. There's no name on it," and it turns out it was Kraft.
Yeah.
And that's a really fucking old statue, so that dude's been around.
Yeah, we don't know how old Kraft is, but
we don't really get much of his
Yeah,
story.
there's the implication that Kraft is a hero on the same level as like Himmel and Frieren and the party. And it's just the world's forgotten because it's been so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they do a great job of. You know how normally you open something up and it's like it's a loose end. They managed to tread the line here where they use that as world building.
Yep.
So they introduced this shit that Kraft was this big hero and he's wandered off on his own to go do other things. He does pop up later, a little bit later on as well, but he's not important to the plot. It's more, I wonder what's going off over there. What's his name? The priest, Sane,
Yeah.
goes off looking for his friend.
Yep.
Again, he's with the party for a couple of weeks, couple of months in a few episodes in the story. Goes off on his own. There's a bigger world out there. Basically, it's showing you that there is this huge world that they build, and we've barely scratched the surface just following this story. But there's so much going on. Yeah, it's as somebody who's trying to learn to write, the sheer weight of shit that they're juggling and the plates they're spinning. Yeah, I'm gonna stop waffling. Just go watch this fucking show now.
Oh my god, yeah. So to echo everything that both these guys have said, this show's a fucking masterpiece. What I mean, Eric's right. There's nothing's perfect, but this is. I've not watched. This is probably the single best pure fantasy show I've ever watched. Like it's.
And that technically includes the Slayers.
Yeah. Oh, the Slayers is my favorite. The Slayers is my favorite. Is my favorite fantasy comedy.
Yes.
And it's one of my favorite fantasy shows. But this is Tolkien at his best levels of writing.
Yeah.
Like I love Tolkien, but even I acknowledge that his pacing can occasionally be glacial.
Troublesome.
I'll go with glacial.
Fair enough.
But this is also slow, but it works. It works the way Tolkien does when he in The Hobbit. Like The Hobbit's pacing is not fast, but it's also not painful.
No. And it's also deep.
Yes, for a kid's book, The Hobbit's very deep, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is it is a beautiful story being told exquisitely, with just. The art is gorgeous, the animation's gorgeous, the music's gorgeous, the voice acting is fantastic, the dialogue is... And as I said, and then every now and then it says, oh, you want some action, do you? Well, alright, here you go, top tier action, clonk. And it doesn't feel like it's clonked out of... It also doesn't, when the action happens, there's build to it also, is the thing. Mm-hmm. It's not out of nowhere, it is, the way they ratchet up to the top action is like, it's brilliant. It's amazing. Like this is, I agree with Eric. This is, it's top 10 minimum. I think definitively top 5, but I'd have to like sit down and really think about it. But I'm not really like, I don't really. I'm at a loss for words about how much I liked the show. Like, it's that good.
Yeah.
The last time I was this at, like, there are 2 shows that have me at this much of a loss for words how much I like it, and that's Bebop and Mob Psycho.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. This show is really good. Please give it a chance. I acknowledge that it might not be your cup of tea. I'm confused by why it not be someone's cup of tea, but I acknowledge that it's possible.
But the more people that watch it, the more likely Madhouse are going to make a second season.
I want that second season.
I mean, it's certainly like a critical darling. So
yeah,
yes,
and deservedly fucking so.
I'm going to say we are the least voice that's singing the praises of this show.
Yeah,
and you know, very very late in the process, but it's still worth saying.
But please give the show a shot. It's that good. This is not like this is not like thumbs up. This is just like, we're not worthy levels of just like, fuck, this is great.
Yeah.
Fuck, this show's good. Anyways, that's gonna do it for Frieren. Eric, have you picked the next show? Because you're picking next.
Oh, what the fuck do I follow Frieren up with?
That's a tough one. Fair. You don't have to try. You don't have to match it. You just have to pick something you want to watch. Like,
yeah. I have a couple ideas. I haven't landed on anything particular yet.
That's fine.
But yeah, we'll figure it out.
We will find out when we find out. Then.
Yeah.
We've gone on for long enough. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's late.
This is a show that deserves us going on about.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back when we finish whatever Eric picks next. So yeah, hope you all enjoy this, and hope you all enjoy Frieren when you get around to watching it, or if you've already watched it, go watch it again or something.
Why are you watching it now? Now!
Yeah, go watch it now.
Anyways, that's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you all soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.